Welcome back to the fifth and most likely final installment of the English Muffin segment and series. So I have been preheating, it's still not there yet, a cast iron pan. Since it's not a technical griddle and cast iron can maintain a lot of heat and it doesn't cool down that quickly, I'm going for about medium heat for now. You do want to, even if your cast iron is seasoned properly, which it should be, you do want to generously coat it in butter. Some things I saw or read mentioned doing it right on the griddle, pretty much no butter or nothing at all, which I find to be a little weird. And where's the fun in that, especially when you're making English muffins? Turn it up a bit. So this has been preheating. It's been about 3 minutes, over an hour and a half since we last met. As you'll see, the English muffins have now puffed up. They do appear to be pretty much ready to go. Hopefully this turns out right again. As the Barely Brewing channel always say when he makes any kind of food or whatnot. I haven't heard him say it about the beer, so let's see if he changes his tune. No guarantees. This is my first time making it, so you will need a spatula. You will need your cast iron pan, some kind of cooling rack. I am using the rack from my roasting pan, as I don't actually have a cooling rack, and I have a little tray on the side here on the standby. For the tray and the standby, if you need to do that, it's perfectly fine. The cooling rack, of course, is ideal. I'm just going to put down a small piece of non-grease aluminum foil for the leftovers. That should be enough to fit everything, but just in case, let's just add one more tiny segment. I got that on the side here. Then we got the cooling rack here. And obviously, since we're working with a hot pan and it's cast iron, don't be a fool, wrap your tool. All right. Yeah, it's nice and hot. You are going to want to gently grab this and this, scoop up one of your English muffins at a time. You don't want to puff them or flatten them out any more than they already are. Oop, flip that one over. And you're going to want to lay it on the pan. Make sure you're laying it as best as possible. You're not going to want to move them around pretty much at all. I am going to do 4 at a time. Where's my... There it is. So, as I'm going off with the Joy cooking recipe, all it mentions is hot griddle pan. It mentions let the bottoms brown and then flip and repeat. It didn't give me any specifics on how long that could take, so we're going to keep an eye on it, see what we can do. Probably give it about a minute or two, and we'll go from there. Whether or not I do all these in the video, I'm not quite sure yet, but I'm at least going to do a couple, have them cool, and as I do more, maybe pull off the cooled ones and show you and see how that turns out. Again, never edited a video, don't know how. I don't think I can have the tools or technology to do so. Okay. Oh, that's smelling so good. Oh my god. If I do this right, which it should work out, I should have all this done and cleaned up before my fiance gets home so that I'm not in the doghouse. But as I mentioned in, I believe, phase 1 and phase 2 of these videos, when I shove in front of her and in her face one of these delicious bacon, egg, and cheese English muffin from scratch sandwiches, she'll shut the fuck up. Okay. Not there yet. Give that some more time. So yeah, I'll read from the Bible here, let you guys know what it says. It says here in the excuse me, generously butter griddle and heat until hot. Remove the rings. I apologize. You can get English muffin rings to help with the formation. I don't have those. I don't know if I ever really will bother getting those, but remove the rings and working in batches. Carefully slip the pancake and the turner under each muffin ring. Put them on the griddle. Cook until lightly browned on the bottom. Turn and cook on the second size corner rack. And then it mentions using a fork to separate the two sides. And then, of course, add some marmalade or butter. Or, of course, delicious bacon, egg, and cheese. I cannot wait. We were going to originally do this on bagels or brioche buns. But I have not made bagels, especially since my KitchenAid broke, and I'm all out of brioche buns. Let's see what we're looking at here. All right, nice and toasty, so we are going to flip that one over. Check out the rest as well. Nice. Not as, I'd say, flat as I would have liked them. So I'm going to smush them down just a bit to see how this turns out, to give them a little more of the size and shape. There we go. That's looking good. All right. Turn the temperature back down to it a little bit higher than the medium to see how things go, to get that going. Again, you want to be cautious with it. A little bit of smoke, not too worried, but that's a sign that I should cool the jets and slow things down a bit. So we'll see how this turns out. Again, the smell is just phenomenal. I'm really hoping these turn out well. The fact that it doesn't tell me how long to leave each one on, I honestly forgot to watch the YouTube video or a YouTube video to see if there's anything I'm missing. And the fact that it's so quick with no baking or anything, I'm really hoping this turns out okay. I got some doubts, not because of my own ability, but again, the joy of cooking is a good baseline, but I'll probably add some notes and some things. I know the one video I watched, she's the person that put it on the non-greased griddle. She also left it out of the dough in the fridge overnight to proof up. She also baked it at the end. I'm not really sure I want to do things like that. Joy Cooking really hasn't let me down too much. Like I said, for me, it's the holy bible of baking. So I am going to try and take its word for things. Look at that. That's looking good. Okay, I am going to at least take one out for now. And I'm probably going to butcher it just to see how things look. I know it's going to take time to cool, and doing so right away isn't going to reduce results even if it isn't correct. But I do want to kind of see how it looks in the middle and make sure I'm not going too much one direction or the other. So let's pull this over here, pop this up, and separate. And I'm going to go ahead and say that these are going to need a little more time. Definitely doughy. The nooks and crannies, as you see, are starting to form. So we are almost there. I may do a separate flip of each one just to kind of see where we go from there. And then again, maybe I will take a word up and heat them up in the oven for a bit just to kind of seal, because this dough is definitely not fully done. You can pull this out here, you can see the dough is not done. So this is where the joy of cooking kind of drives me nuts, because I mean, I'm not really sure what more I could do. I followed this recipe to the letter. Okay. I don't mind butchering one or two just to see how they turn out. Now this one's had a little longer in there. Let's open this bad boy up and see how this goes. Much better. So yeah, just need to flip it and stay on top of it. So I'm going to go ahead and say these are done. Don't want to burn them. Nice and brown. Probably keep the heat a little lower. And I'm going to go ahead and grab some more butter. If you're baking and things like that, you're eating all this bread, you're not really too concerned, obviously, with the carbs. Nor am I going to be too concerned with the butter. Woo! That's the problem with cast iron. Heats up quick. Turn the fan on here. Go ahead and grab another 4 off the tray. And this time for these, I'm also going to smush them down in the beginning, not just the second phase of the flip, and see how that turns out. Since these are my first time, I don't mind experimenting with them and kind of fooling around. My main concern is obviously being cooked fully through. Don't want to eat any raw dough. And my main concern past that is flavor town. A little bit of a squish down here to each one. And that actually gives them a nice authentic look to them versus the puffy dinner roll style that I'm seeing. Nice and gentle. Right. So yeah, so far these have been fun to make. Not too impressed with the nooks and crannies. I will be perfecting this recipe, maybe doing some follow-up videos to see how things go. Not the whole shebang, just some follow-up videos. Let's go ahead and butcher the one that I hope is done at this point. It was on there the longest. That's not bad. Not the best nooks and crannies I've seen, but then again, you know, for the first try, I'm not really going to be too concerned with that one. Let's go ahead and take a bite out of this bad boy, see how it tastes. Wow, spot on. If I don't say so myself. Whew. That is good. Oh man. Alright. So, let's see how the rest turn out, but so far, we are off to a great start. A couple trial and errors here, but nothing wrong with experimenting. Like I've said at the beginning of this video and every other video, especially when you apply a little alcohol, a little loosey-goosey, have some fun with it. If you mess up, you're still way ahead of anyone that's not doing this at all and not even bothering to try something new. Too much butter. I like the brownness of the other one's better. So I'm probably not going to add any additional butter moving forward in this one. I'll let these ones soak that up as much as possible. I'm sure it's going to taste delicious. And I'm going to go ahead and put this, we're done with that tray, and move this tray over. Whew, I will tell you what, the smell alone is worth all the effort when it comes to baking. Never made English muffins before, but this is just delicious. See how we're looking there. Give them a few more minutes. Squish that down a bit more. Doesn't say to squish them down, but honestly, so far, I'm not seeing any issues with that. That may ruin the nooks and crannies, so I think with the next four, I may not squish them down at all, other than maybe the first squish, or the first, before the first clip, but we'll see. Probably should have also timed the perfection ones, so to speak, to see how long that took, but I'm not really worried. So far, the taste has been fantastic. Oh yeah, that's looking good. And I did mention it earlier, but if you are going to use your cast iron for this, please make sure you didn't cook fish or anything the night before in it. Make sure it's been fully re-seasoned. Got all the good flavors of the re-seasoning and not of last night's previous meal. You don't want your English muffins tasting like fucking fish or even hamburgers or anything else that you've cooked in there. So make sure you use a very clean, properly re-seasoned cast iron for this job. This one is gorgeous. Right, so, like I mentioned, we are going to do 4 more. Two of which I am going to squish down at the start. other two I am going to leave as is. And let's time this one. Let's give this just about, let's say 2 minutes at the start. And see how things go. Flip it maybe another 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and go from there. They certainly are looking fantastic. Let me show you some of the end product here. Not too fond of this one, but this one right here looks fantastic. Certainly so far taste as good as they fucking smell. Got another minute and 4 seconds. Let's just do a check on these. Oh, it's looking good. A minute maybe the sweet spot. Let's flip these over. Continue this experiment. They don't need any additional squishing. And we'll give the ones we're not touching another minute, and give this one another 45 seconds on this side, and then some more time to go from there. Yeah, it is a shame that it doesn't mention this is brown. Well, if I followed the brown on each side, as you saw, the dough isn't done yet. So these are things where you're right in the sides. You make your own adjustments and whatnot. I love doing it. I've got all kinds of sticky notes and as you can see, all kinds of writing when it comes to things. That's just something I've been enjoying doing with my Holy Bible here. Even my, hey, look at this, alternate jambalaya. All kinds of good stuff in here. But, be your own person. Make sure you experiment, have some fun with things. It's one of the best things when it comes to cooking and baking, is just having fun with it. Because again, even if you're not the best, most people don't even bother trying. Flip these over, check on the ones that are squished, have been there for a minute on the other side. Okay, I'm going to do one more test. This is the one that was, let's get that 1 minute, because then it'll be 2 minutes and 2 minutes. I'm liking the squished ones better. So far, just because of the looks. The non-squished ones coming out more like a dinner roll. Maybe I should have patted a little more before the final proofing. Not quite sure about that. Let's see how things go. Make some room over here for the tester. 30 more seconds, not even. It's looking brown there. Looking good in the neighborhood. All right. 3, 2, 1. Let those sit, and I'm going to tear open this tester here. This is the squished one, 2 minutes on each side. Perfect. Okay, looks like the sweet spot is 2 minutes on each side. Looking good. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these off as well. Additionals. Big shout out to Nick Nell, as he made these a couple weeks ago and I've been wanting to make them. Just haven't gotten around to that part yet. I'm looking in here because I could have sworn, not that I did it today, that this had called for yogurt, which is why I bought yogurt. And I'm not seeing any yogurt, so I must have been looking at a different recipe I'm going to try next. I've been making all kinds of things lately. I will make a video on the challah bread. That turned out fantastic. That was a lot of fun to make and a great gift to give people. If it turns out right, it turns out beautiful the way you've seen challah bread. It's a fantastic gift. People love it. First minute's done. I'm going to double check to see how they're doing. Don't want to burn anything. Not bad. Not too shabby. I'm going to transfer from the cooling rack to the smaller thing here. Some more room. Roughly 40 seconds to go. So yeah, a lot of mess, but a lot of fun. Alright. So next time I'll try, like I said, the oven technique, see how that goes. See how that goes, but so far, they taste good, they're looking delicious. I'm sure there's not going to be any complaints from my fiance tonight when I make her the bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich on the homemade English muffin. Especially if I can clean everything up and get the kitchen back to normal before she returns from her job. Alright, so I'm not going to show you the last two, there's no point. Got these final 4 baking. These are looking fantastic. I will enjoy these later tonight. But this is what we got. Yum, yum, eat 'em up. There we go. This was a lot of fun to make. Super simple. A little bit time consuming when it comes to, just more the waiting than the making. A lot of that is the, I guess, the caveat when it comes to bread. A lot of patience. Some things take overnight proofing and whatnot. But everything that's good always takes a little bit of time and effort. So that is good. We've got another minute left in these bad boys. I'm going to flip these over. And don't forget to check out my sourdough starter video, especially when it comes to the comment section. It comes to naming it. And I guess like and subscribe. Even if I don't know if anyone's even going to watch this shit. But I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for me, especially during the quarantine period. Got to keep myself, occupied. Alright, so, I love you all. If you have any questions, also put them in the comments. If there's not a whole lot of comments, I might be able to respond to them all. If 1,000 subscribers don't, blow up the channel, I'm talking too much. Alright, have a good one.